Damn.
Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Avs lose a game that, it was a close game the entire time. But they lose 4-3 to the Montreal Canadiens in a game where they had multiple leads during the game. We're not able to hang on to them, and we're not able to claw back in the third period. A lot of different things to talk about on both sides here. But let's start with the 60-second rundown. Avs started off well. They get an early power play. They get on the board first. They then give that goal back on a penalty kill of their own that they're not able to convert, and it's 1-1 after the first. The second period, honestly, the Avs came out and played some incredible hockey. They probably deserved to be up after the second period at very least. They hit multiple posts, just a couple of bounces that don't go their way. They're still able to get one in the period, but they also give one back to Montreal. You're 2-2 headed into the third period, and Montreal is one goal better. You finish ultimately 4-3. The Avs give one up on a power play. They're able to get it back. A nice play from Mikko to Taves, and then a late goal ends up costing them the game on a scrambly puck. I struggle with this game because I really don't know how much more you can ask their best players, the Avs' best players, that is, to do here. Makar has a 3-point night, is absolutely unbelievable. Sure, MacKinnon and Rantanen, they're not racking up the points, but Mikko makes a play that gets the Avs game tied in the third period. MacKinnon is flying around doing a bunch of stuff. Puck just doesn't go in. Like I said, I think they had 4 posts on the night. You ultimately end up with Jake Allen being one goal better than Alexander Georgiev.
That's it.
Let's start here. Are you guys satisfied with the top guys tonight? Because it wasn't perfect. You can argue the second goal is at least in part on Nathan MacKinnon. You have some not great coverages on your penalty kill from someone like Devon. Where are you at with the Avs top guys on tonight?
What more can you ask?
Okay.
You're playing half the game.
Yeah.
If I told you before the game that you were going to get points out of 4 forwards, which 4 would you guess?
MacKinnon, Rantanen, Druin, and Colton.
And you got it. You got a 3-point night out of Cale Makar, and you lost the hockey game.
Yep. What else is there?
Yeah. I feel like your top guys did what you could have wanted from them.
Yeah.
They got you on the board 3 times.
Yep.
They gave you leads of 1-0 and 2-1, and then they erase a third period deficit
To tie it 3-3, yeah.
And you look at 2 of those goals, and you don't even. For me, I'm not even. This isn't even about Georgiev yet, but it's like you look at 2 of those 4 goals against,
Yep.
and you just say, "What the hell are you doing?" And the object of that ire is different on each of those goals,
For sure.
but they're just such bad plays, and you lose by 1, and it's like, all right, -4, -2,
Doing some boy math over here.
2. So you go from 4-3, theoretically 3-2. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, this is. You said that you struggle with this game. I don't, man. I really don't. The guys who are not your top 4 forwards
Yeah.
weren't nearly good enough. And again, you are depleted.
Yeah, that's I
Your
struggle with
lineup
that.
is not going to get significantly better overnight. Well, maybe it will.
They could have 2 new forwards tomorrow.
Maybe it will, actually. But your lineup was not different from the Toronto game.
That's fair.
That lineup does just enough, and it doesn't. I'm poorly making this point, but your 4th line draws the penalty. They score on the first power play,
Yep.
and then it takes the penalty
That they give one back.
that they give
on.
right
Yeah.
back, and the margin of error for those guys is extremely thin.
Yep.
You cannot be having and Andrew Cogliano with a terrible read on the PK to give that goal up.
Yeah.
And I'm largely just focusing on the things that happen in front of Georgiev, because I don't have anything to say about Alexander Georgiev
That we
in
haven't
this
covered
in this
10
game.
times, yeah.
That it other than it was bad.
Yep.
It was bad. you get 2 extra saves in this game, and that's not an unreasonable ask given the goals that get scored. You get 2 extra saves, you probably win this game. It's just bad, man. It's bad.
Yeah, I want to hold off on the Georgiev thing for a second. We'll talk about it more.
Bad.
But I do want to talk about the guys in front of him first. Because the part of me that struggles with this game is you just can't ask the Avs depth forwards to do any more than they did tonight. Because they're just not there. You're icing a fourth line of Curtis McDermott, Freddie Olofsson, and a defenseman.
And Caleb Jones, it's 2 defensemen.
I guess
one of them,
technically it's 2.
One of them that has remade himself into a shitty forward that barely plays, and the other one that should not be playing forward. It was so bad last game that it should never have happened again. And that Jared Bednar rolled it out again blows my mind. It really does. Blow my mind. Because the level of accountability that has been held for a guy like Ben Myers is what it is, and that they just live with Caleb Jones. I'm not even mad that Caleb Jones sucks as a forward. He's not in the NHL. He's not in the NHL because he's a forward.
Right.
And you could easily make an argument that Curtis McDermott shouldn't be in the NHL as a forward. It's just that's your fourth, and poor Fredrik Olofsson. Like Freddie Olofsson's just trying to make a career of it, doing what he's trying to do, and he's got these guys around him. It doesn't have any help, man. It's just and the different standards here. You're cool with rolling out Caleb Jones as a forward 5.5 minutes in a game? You don't even give yourself a chance. You're on the front end of a back-to-back. How does this make sense? You got away with it in Toronto. And tonight you get burned. Because I'm genuinely not asking for a ton more from your top guys. Yes, Mikko Rantanen drove me crazy all night. Mikko Rantanen made some big mistakes.
Yep.
Also made some big plays.
Yep.
They don't even get close to winning this game without him. So it's, you kind of just live with the things that your big guys do wrong because they do so much right.
Yep.
And all the other guys that you're looking at, you're not talking about, like you said, is it fair to ask Logan O'Connor and Yoel
play on a
Kiviranta?
second line for you?
Yeah, you would definitely love to have way more from Ryan Johansson. That we're 40 games into, we're like 30 games into. What's up, right, Joe? It's a bad fit. It's not going to work here. Yep. And I think that's just it. That's the final verdict. You're kind of stuck.
There's not really a more conversation there.
Yeah, and unless they go and do something, this is the world they're living in. And I don't know how you get out of it. You hope that Miles Wood is healthy. You hope that Arturi Lehkonen comes back. It sure would have been nice to continue to have Val Nichushkin available and have those guys come back where you start to feel like, all right, this is a forward core that we can go to war with.
Yep.
And instead, you're just like, all right, top guys, play half the game. Good luck. And now you have to go into a back-to-back tomorrow where your top guys did play half the game. And good luck, dude.
Yeah, I mean, if you look on paper, I agree with everything. I think we're all saying the same thing, Montreal Canadiens is not a powerhouse. You know what I mean? Like, it's a, again, depleted team as well for what they are. They don't have a MacKinnon, a Makar, a Rantanen. They come away with the win, right? For all the reasons that we'll get into. For me, there's one reason. It's goaltending. And we'll get to it. I don't want to jump the gun to it, but I agree with the point you're saying. And it is what it is. And your second line, whatever you want to call it, centerman, right, Joe, whatever you want to call them, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. It ain't going to change. But did they make it hard on themselves? Yeah, they did. Taking a bad penalty in the offensive zone. I mean, we said it before the game. If you're going to play 5-on-5, you're going to beat them. They give up 2 power play goals, right?
I just there are a lot of mistakes made by the Avs forward core and their defense tonight. Sure, but they're also 6 inches away from this game being 6-2 in the second period.
And I was going to say, and that was going to be my next point. They got what, 3 posts?
4 posts.
4
posts.
Yeah. Okay, so again, those pucks go in. It's a different game. Well, who knows? Maybe not. But again, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Right? At the end of the day, they didn't go in. So,
yep.
But when you have a margin of error that's that small, and then then you need to have goaltending. And for me, He was not even close to being as good as the guy down the other end. The other end beat him, and that's what he hasn't done this year. He hasn't been better than the guy across down the ice from him many times. And that's what it comes down to. That's it. I mean, call it whatever you want to call it. It's
the difference here.
He lost his match against the guy across.
And we can get into the Georgiev stuff.
Sure.
But the big difference here is your fourth line you have no expectations from. If they give it, great. If they take it, okay. You
chop 3 guys right off your lineup to start the game.
Right. Like
You actively chose to do that.
There are expectations of Alexander Georgiev. That's the difference here. It's the Avs need him to be better than he's been. I don't want to make people mad because they voted him to the All-Star game because they want to see him there. Great,
Awesome.
Play like it, man.
Trying to win the cup, not go to the All-Star game.
It's just, is everything his fault? No. You even look at the goals that you really want him to have back on the second goal of the game for Montreal. If MacKinnon doesn't think he's getting a penalty called on him and continues to play the puck probably gets out of the zone. You're probably fine. But also, that goal just can't go in. It just cannot go in your net.
Terrible.
Right. Every single shot against is a mistake by the team in front of you somewhere.
Yep.
Somewhere along the line, the other team outplays you in order to get a shot on goal. You pay a goaltender to be the last line of defense. When that second Montreal goal especially, dude, what is that? That's nothing.
Not even a chance against.
Yeah, it's not. It shouldn't be a scoring chance. It should be a high danger chance.
The fourth goal's not even a
dude.
scoring chance. I read something
break, dude.
here on Twitter. I mean, again, I'll wait.
All right, fair enough. It's just the frustrating thing is there is no answer. But what can the Avs do other than just hope Georgiev plays better? The answer is nothing. You want to go out and spend a fortune to get Elvis Merzlikins to play .905 save percentage for you or whatever he's got this year?
Yeah.
Like, not substantially better than what Georgiev has been? It's just a tough spot. It's a tough spot, and the Avs just need better out of that position. It is what it is. I wish I could tell you something else. I wish I could tell you there was a solution to this that made sense, but...
No, but I don't want his head. I just want him to play better. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Because there's no solution. They're not changing. There's no... Patrick Roy's not coming. There's no... It is what it is. This is what you got. But you got to figure out a way to make it. I don't want to hear, he was goaltender of the week this year. Oh, great. Awesome. It's perfect. I'm asking you to be consistent and make saves. When you have a depleted lineup like this against a depleted team, the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, you need...
come on.
There's lots of teams out there that have banged up lineups.
Right.
You have to get by. The reality is you have your top 2 forwards, you have your top D pairing, and you have your number 1 goaltender in net.
There you go.
Yeah,
Plenty
you need
to
more from all these other guys, and you need this,
Sure.
you need that. Those guys gave you 3 fucking goals, and you lost a hockey game that you had to a team that you should beat. Well, to a team at one point that you were thoroughly outplaying in the second period. Yeah, you hit some posts, you come close, you blow a couple of opportunities to really separate. You have a 5-on-3 that you don't score on. No. You go 0 for 2 on the PK, and your goalie plays like shit. It's not hard to lose a game in the NHL. It's a pretty good formula for it.
On most nights, the Avs have been able to outscore this problem.
Yeah.
But on a night where they've been super depleted, now the second game in a row where they've been super depleted, you just need it. You need it. You need a guy to step up, and that guy has to be Georgiev at a certain point.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's just too many games without it. And I know it's not everything is his fault and all of this. The guy has 1 game with a save percentage above 900 in the year of 2024.
No game is ever one player's fault. It's just not. There's too many minutes. There's too many shifts.
Of course. We're going to break it down in a minute.
Yeah, but it's just your goaltender. You look at the second goal that gets given up. You lose by 1. And you're like, every one of these other goals, you can have conversations about this.
Yep.
That goal, you're like, I don't give a shit how you got in that situation. I don't care one bit. That can't go in. And you lose by 1.
Yep.
That's
If
it.
you would have just stopped at 3, 3. Not saying it needs to be 1. No, not saying it needs to be 2.
If you stop
3.
If you stopped at 3, you had a save percentage above 900 tonight.
And you get to overtime, and who knows?
Yeah, and if you get a point, everyone's going, "Oh, that sucks," but at least you got a point.
There you go.
If you get 2 points, you're saying, "Great, it wasn't pretty, but you got there." Instead, you get none because you just can't. But you're just making life so difficult on yourself. If you're the Colorado Avalanche, I need a burrito. I got to go to Illegal Pete's or something because this is driving me crazy.
Queso.
Go get your Illegal Pete's today. They're delicious queso, fresh ingredients on all their burritos. They also have happy hour from 3 to 8 p.m. So, if Georgiev's struggling mid-game with these 5 o'clock starts, swing by Illegal Pete's and you can drown the pain a little bit or something. I don't know. Get yourself to one. There's a dozen locations here in Colorado where you can get your Illegal Pete's on. Go check them out, including one right by the DNVR bar. Once you've gotten your delicious Illegal Pete's burritos, make sure you're getting over to Bet365 to get your gamble on, because the Avs might not have won tonight, but my Jonathan Drouin bet did hit. So at least I can say I made money on the hockey game.
I did too.
There you go.
I bet on Montreal.
Hey, look, sometimes you got emotional hedge, all right?
The emotional hedge is honestly, it's a win-win proposition.
You either win money or the Avs win the game.
Exactly.
Either way, it's a dub. Go do it with Bet365. Sign up with code DNVR365 today. Put $10 in your account. You get $150 in bonus bets when you place your first bet. And take a screenshot of your account with the $10 in it and the DNVR365 code. Send it over to promo@thednvr.com. We'll give you a coupon for a free DNVR shirt. If you want to rep the boys, whatever it might be, three-headed monster, night like tonight, the All Hail Cale is probably the choice, even if the Avs didn't win, because he had a 3-point night. But you can get that when you go to Bet365 and use that DNVR365 code. Of course, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado, and if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Second period. You get an opportunity. It's 30 seconds roughly of 5-on-3 time?
It's 30, yeah.
And then the ensuing 5-on-4. Mm-hmm. The Avs aren't able to convert.
I think they hit 2 posts.
They did hit
two
2 posts, yes, but a post is not a puck in the net.
It is not. But it's also not you're also not just sitting there going, they didn't do anything. It's a bad power play.
Yeah.
If your bottom line is they didn't score on it, therefore it's bad, then that's your bottom line.
Which I'm with you. I think the power plays were actually rather good.
Yeah. And power plays are fickle like that. Sometimes you play well and you don't score. Sometimes you play like shit and you do.
Ultimately, though, the Avs do end up losing the special teams battle tonight.
Yep. Take 2 penalties.
Yep. Get scored on both of them. And
Kill 1 penalty, man.
Is the Mikko penalty dumb? Yeah, for sure. There's no reason to be wrapping a guy up like that in the offensive zone.
Dude, it's inexplicably stupid.
When you play a lot, that's what happens, right? You just,
It's, AJ, you mentioned this during the watch along, and it ultimately led to the first goal, even if the initial chance didn't go in on the power play for Montreal, and then they tried it multiple other times in the night. Has the league figured out the Avs might be weak on that backdoor play on the penalty kill?
Yeah, and their penalty kill has slowly been sinking over the course of the last, I want to say, month. It's been getting scored on pretty regularly. You really need that unit to make an adjustment. We saw the power play, for example, make a big-time adjustment with how they were playing.
All of a sudden started moving their feet, and people were switching spots. Yep.
More than anything, they have Val Nichushkin parked in front, so they started playing really down low and feeding him pucks.
And it worked.
Now they don't have Val Nichushkin, so they've got to find something else. They put Ross Colton there. He scores a goal immediately into this game on that top power play unit, and that's great. And, it's honestly a really nice play. Jonathan Drouin with a little tip play. It's a good save. Colton gets 2 shots at it and finally puts one in, but your penalty kill really needs to make a tactical adjustment to say, hey, we really need to start forcing pucks out high again, because teams are beating them from down low, either going cross crease or they're doing it like as we saw in Florida, with Tkachuk behind the goal line and going out front to Sam Reinhart. Those are the two things that are starting to beat them with regularity, and they need to start trying to defend against because it's happening too much. They're giving up too many of those.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't really care about the Caulfield goal that much.
Well, I don't like it.
I know you don't, but like sometimes that stuff happens, and where that shot is, I guess what I'm saying is I don't care about that from a PK perspective. Giving up that shot on goal doesn't bother me. How Georgiev plays it bothers me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
But your PK, what you want them to do right there, you'll live with that shot on goal.
Anytime.
Yeah.
And that's kind of tough where you're like, I think the PK plays this right, and your goaltender lets you down.
Still ends up in the back of your net.
But that's why I'm
not great.
That's why I'm going. I don't like it. I don't like it for the perspective of when you've given up that second goal, which is a horse crap goal. It's
so
a bad goal. It's not a scoring chance. It's not a play. I know there's mistakes before. There's mistakes 15 times a shifts. It's all
That's
good.
hockey, baby.
It's all good. It's not what I'm saying. That is not a scoring chance. It's going to end up being a high danger chance in the notes, right? You know, it's not even a chance.
Yeah.
And it ends up now giving momentum, right, to because the Avs had a good second period, like you said, with the posts, and yeah, they didn't convert, but they had some good chances, and you're on the road, and you're depleted, and you know you probably go into the dressing room up 2-1 instead it's 2-2. You know, it's a horrible goal. When you give a horrible goal, because it is horrible, it's on you to not give up that next one. That's why I don't like the third one. It could be Cole Caulfield's a great shooter. It's not what I'm saying. That's why it's a bad example, because he's a good shooter, you know. But I don't like it for the fact that you're right. I'll give up that shot on the PK right there. That is the least dangerous area of the game. He's sideways. He's side. You can't give it up. I don't care if it's Alex Ovechkin's. You can't give up that goal after you've given up that second one the way you did.
Yeah.
So that's why I hate the third one. And then I hate the fourth one.
Yeah, that's what it is for me. It's not, oh, I hate the third one. Oh, I hate the second one.
Yeah.
It's all of them. If you give up one bad one, okay, fine. If you don't give up any other ones.
That's it.
You give up one bad one, you give up one that's not terrible, but it's not great. You give up another one that's kind of bad.
Yeah.
And now you're falling apart.
And then I saw something on Twitter there. Like, that's why I'm saying somebody pressed pause and they're showing like Manson and Girard, like, yeah, it's a broken play. Puck goes
Manson
in the air.
and Girard play that terribly. I would not argue.
No,
that.
but on top
What
of it,
the
like,
hell is Girard even looking at?
no,
dude?
but again, the puck is loose right there. Just cover it. That's it. That's not a scoring chance. Ends up in the goal.
Yeah.
So there's 2 goals. They're not even scoring chances. And I know they're going to end up being scoring chances in the numbers. They're not even. It's not even a play.
I didn't even bother looking at the numbers for this game.
I'm just
care.
saying,
Not
like,
worth it,
I'm
yeah.
just like, what? So that's what I say. I don't blame goalies. I'm his biggest defender. But at some point right now, he's losing me. So I'm probably not the only guy he's losing. You know what I mean? But what can they do? I don't think they can do anything. But just hope that he gets better.
Yep.
I don't know what's the recipe. Oh, he's the goalie of the week this week. It's awesome. Yeah, great. Like I said to you, I'm trying to win the Stanley Cup here. Like, I don't care about goalie of the week when they had no other ones to pick for.
All-Star game
Or whatever it is, third star of the week or whatever it is. Like, come on.
The recipe is you pull up 3 of the 4 goals tonight and you tell them to stop one.
That's it. It's not hard. So
And it's not like you're looking at world-class shots where you're like,
Right.
what can he do differently?
Right.
no.
These aren't all world this, that,
No.
or the other thing made it impossible for him to make the play. It's just you need one play better. And you cannot have a hockey team be successful when they play in front of them knowing that they don't trust them to make a save.
Yeah.
You end up in a situation where you now have your team playing super tight defensively in the sense that they're trying not to give up any shots, and that leads to teams getting away from their systems. It leads to bad decisions getting made because you're trying to block a shot you shouldn't be, or you're trying to give something up that you shouldn't be trying to stop. It's a house of cards at that point.
Yeah, we go back to the second goal, and it's so bad, dude.
Yeah.
Doesn't even move. Like, he just opens it up, and you're just like, what the hell are you doing, dude?
It's not like there's anything else where that puck could go. There's nowhere that shot can go. And it just goes he does not gobble up the first chance, and then the second one just goes right through him.
Yeah, it's just a tap.
Yep.
You see guys do it all the time, and you're always like, yeah, okay, like that's gonna go in, and then it does, and you're like, dude. Especially like the Avs have to work really, really hard to score goals.
Yep.
Beyond their top guys, and their top guys gave you 3 in this game.
Yep.
You're still having this conversation. Like that's frustrating. But you do look at that second goal, especially Nathan MacKinnon should have been called for a penalty.
Yep. It didn't.
Doesn't.
And just stops playing.
Yeah, stops playing because he thinks as soon as he touches. And that annoys me. MacKinnon does this too often.
For sure.
Quits. Yeah. He quits on the play.
It's a little. We've seen him. Remember the LA game earlier this year? He just stopped playing.
Yep.
Costs them a goal
go
against.
Down the other way. Yeah.
That stuff is frustrating. But you also Josh Manson just like inexplicably falls down.
Yep.
Like, I thought Josh Manson was brutally bad in this game. And I think he's been pretty good more often than not.
For the
and
past
I thought
month,
he was
when he's healthy, he's been really good.
I thought he was awfully bad in this game. Dude, that goal, he just eats it, and you're like, okay. And then the fourth goal, he's not doing anything. He's just standing there, watches the puck go through his legs. At least he seemed to have an idea where it was.
Doesn't even know where that puck
Gerard
is,
has no concept of it, and I'm just like, this is so bad, dude. It's so bad. And then your goaltender doesn't make a play for you.
I want to talk about this side of the goalie thing very quickly, and then we can move on from the goalie conversation. How much blame does Georgiev getting overworked take?
Some. It's absolutely a factor. You can't just look at Georgiev and be like, hey, man, you have to play 11 out of 12 games. Good luck. It's part of it, and it sure would have been nice had Prosvetov not been fucking terrible in the Florida game when they tried to give him a day off.
Yep. Would have helped.
And they played a string of games where, you could have justified putting Annunen into this game and having Georgiev go tomorrow.
For sure.
So either way, it has to play a role, man. I don't buy into the whole concept that he was overworked early in the season because you remember they played a game, they had 2 days off
all the time,
played a game, and he ended up playing something like 9 games in like 30 days or whatever it was.
And
Not
it was that big a workload.
It was like on paper, you're like, he's played 9 straight games, and in reality, it wasn't that much of a workload. This is a workload.
Yeah.
The Avs have been playing a ton of games. He's played in all of them. So you can't escape the reality. Some of this is going to be fatigue.
Has to be. And that's why you put, again, we all saw it with our own eyes. An NHL game is different than an AHL game. But the technicalities of a goalie, the poise of a goalie in the blue crease is the same ice. Shots are different. I'm talking about the way you handle yourself in the crease, What I saw, what you saw, what Tiff, Megan, everyone, we were all there. Right away it jumped at me like, get this guy the game. You know what I mean? So tomorrow, it's funny, then he gets called up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm just saying, get this guy in the game tomorrow. I'm talking about Eustace. Get him in the game tomorrow. He's a different goalie than he was 3 years ago. It's called being in the American League for 3 years now? At some point, you're gaining confidence. You're gaining... Maybe they don't have confidence in him. It sure doesn't sound like they have confidence in him, or else he'd be playing more.
Yeah.
Right? Me personally, I don't have confidence in Prosvetov. But I have confidence in Justus Annunen to do what he needs to do. What you're saying is to relieve the pressure a little bit on the starting goaltender, to go in there to play a game. I think he can do it. I think he's at the stage now that he can do it. Obviously, he was hurt for a bit, but now he's back. He seems very solid. Throw him in tomorrow. I don't think they'll regret it. Throw him in tomorrow. And then relieve the pressure from your starter. Get real goaltending at the backup position, and then go from there. I mean, it can't be any worse.
You have to have a guy at backup that you're at least willing to play.
Yeah.
Because right now, the last time you tried to start Prosvetov, you had to pull him. So you didn't end up resting Georgiev at all. I don't care if it's Annunen or Prosvetov. Personally, I would like it to be Annunen.
Yeah.
But the Avs have to figure out something to where they can play a backup goalie and still try to win a hockey game.
It has kind of felt like the Avs were just really, really trying to get to the break.
Yep.
They were trying to just can we just keep sneaking out wins
for another 10 days
yeah,
here.
Get to the break because they're down to, so they've got 3 games left on this.
Yeah.
And they're home for 2.
And then
so
one, yeah.
I think
is it
they're
5? Yeah.
Yeah, so they're down to 5 games for the All-Star break. It has really felt like they were just trying to survive it.
Yep.
And at this point, even knowing what the break looks like, because their last game's the 26th, their next game is, I believe, the 5th or the 6th.
They have a back-to-back to open up.
I would even consider playing Annunen twice.
Sure.
Annunen or Prosvetov, I'm not even going to get into that. Annunen or Prosvetov, I would play 2 backup games the next 5 games and just say whatever happens, happens. You need to start letting this guy reset a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is where him going to the All-Star game really sucks.
He does not get that rest time.
You really wanted him to not have to be there answering questions and doing all this other nonsense, right? It's fine. Whatever. He's still going to get plenty of a break. But I would even consider at this point just being like, hey, just take a break, man.
Yep.
And if we lose those games, we lose those games. We put ourselves in this position trying to get cute at this position with Prosvetov at the beginning of the year. This is an area where, again, I feel like management, and in the same way that I think management set them up for failure with the lineup that they put out there today.
Yep.
And then I thought Bednar wildly misuses it.
Yep.
Caleb Jones, you try him at forward for 1 game, it goes very poorly.
Why run it back?
Don't do it again, dude. Yeah. What is that?
Play
him as a 7D, and double shift Jason Poland, double shift Logan O'Connor. You've had no problem playing Logan O'Connor all over your lineup all season long. Just do it. Just be safer with it.
Yep.
Why put yourself in that position?
You're already playing MacKinnon 28 minutes a night anyway. Like
you have. Management puts you in a bad position with the lineup tonight, and I felt like management put Bednar in a bad position with a goaltender he didn't trust.
He just doesn't want to play
at the start of the year. They claim Ivan Prosvetov. Somebody in the organization wins that power struggle and says, "I want this guy." And Jared Bednar's, the way that he's played him, it doesn't seem like Jared Bednar's the guy that did that.
Sure don't. Sounds like Jared Bednar, the last thing he wants to do is play that guy.
And so we are. Now you're looking at it going, okay, you've got one of the areas that has been so impressive about this era of Avalanche hockey. Your front office and your coaching staff have been in line.
Yep.
There has not felt like a serious disconnect. Right now, with this, specifically with the backup goaltender thing, the 2C thing, you tried something, it hasn't worked. You've got to fix it by the deadline. That's all there is to that.
Yeah.
The backup goaltender thing has not made sense from day one because it is obvious that your head coach doesn't trust this guy.
Yep.
So if he doesn't trust this guy, why are you continuing to go down this road? So he doesn't trust the guy in the AHL. What's different? That guy you've given multiple years to try and develop and figure it out. Give him a role, and if it doesn't work out, then move on. Yep. Find something else.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you who I don't trust anymore, and I'm losing trust is Georgiev. That's where I'm losing trust now. As much as they don't trust Prosvetov or Annunen right now. Right now, I'm losing trust in Georgiev.
I don't know how you can trust any Avs goaltender right now.
I mean, I'm like...
It's fair.
And again, this is a first-place team. Again, we're right near a first-place team in the NHL. We're not saying that. But we're trying to win the Stanley Cup here. This is what we're talking about. In order to do that, I agree. There's 2 things you got to fix.
It's just the
those are the ones we
imbalance of
talk
scales,
about every
right?
game.
Yeah.
Most nights, the Avs can outscore their problem.
Absolutely.
In net. It hasn't mattered most nights.
It is easier to outscore your problems when you have not been put into a position. And let me be clear here. Is the difference between having Oscar Olofsson and Ben Myers on your 4th line next to Frederick Olofsson, the difference in being able to...
at all.
It probably doesn't, especially if you're only going to play him 6 minutes. It probably doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah. I agree.
That's the point, though.
But some of this is also... You're trying to survive a rash of injuries that are all coming at the same position.
Yep.
The one part of your roster that you feel like we are deep enough to handle this is on defense.
Yep.
And now you've got defensemen playing forward.
Yep.
So you're having injuries in the wrong part of your roster here. you built your depth at forward. It's not amazing to begin with, and now you're several deep. You have no Nichushkin, no Lehkonen, no Miles Wood. Those are 3 of your top 9.
And 2 of those guys could be back by the end of this road trip.
Well, and 2 of those guys would be No doubt about it. Top 6 players.
Yep.
Those are hard losses. So, and there are teams in worse positions. I looked at the Vegas lineup today and I said,
they're struggling, man.
Wow,
They're struggling.
that hurts.
They won.
Chandler Stevenson 1C is painful. So that stuff happens. You have to find a way. And their way through it has been their star players producing.
Sure. Yep.
Your stars gave you 3 tonight.
Yep.
If that's not going to be enough to win, you've got to start finding solutions elsewhere.
Yep.
You just have to.
Yep.
Now, luckily, they haven't been losing a whole lot of games here.
Yeah,
this is
a
my
very
money,
contained situation.
the tone of this pod is way angrier than it should be given how well they've played, the 8-1-1 stretch that they've on. We're on a 3-game winning streak against a very difficult schedule. It's frustrating that they go through that gauntlet and then lose to Montreal.
This game in a vacuum could have, should have won.
And if you lose tomorrow night in a scheduled loss where you're on the road in a back-to-back against a rested team with your backup in net, all the elements are there for you to lose tomorrow, making losing tonight even worse.
Yeah.
Timeout. And that's, Rudo always says you can only play the game that's on the schedule.
Yep.
Well, you can only talk about post-game, about the game that's on the schedule.
You can talk about the other ones.
No, but I'm just saying, that's what we're here for. We're talking about tonight's game. And, I
think big picture is important, too. But
that's my point. That's what I'm trying to say. Big picture, this is a good team. Yeah, big picture, they're playing great. Big picture, they're 8-2-1, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But small picture, tonight was horse shit. I didn't like it.
Totally.
That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? And for me, big picture, outside of the scheme of tonight's game, he hasn't given me confidence right now in the last 20 games. He's making me worry.
For sure.
But he was the goaltender of the week or a third star of the week. Great, awesome. He hasn't given me confidence.
That happened off the back of a shutout, not anything else.
And what I'm saying is when I'm on the bench, now I'm putting my hat of a player. I'm on the bench. I'm sitting there. Oof. Buddy, those are deflators. That goaltender, that's a deflator. The second one, it's a tough one. You know what I mean? And you're trying to be positive as a team, and you're trying to help each other out as teammates. And, of course, you do that. But those are hard facts. And when Rudo talks about the sub-900 save percentage every game, it's a hard fact.
It's just data, man.
That
is an on-ice result.
Fact. That's it.
It's nothing against the guy.
Yeah.
It's nothing against the team.
It's a player's production.
Yep.
That's it. His production hasn't been there. And that's what worries me now. I'm starting to get worried.
Same way Ryjo has 6 points in his last 22 games or whatever it is now.
It's WHL player.
All right. I do want to talk a little bit more about the big picture. But before we do that, do you think... let me get the panelist here. Give me a score out of 10 on that dive.
Oh, you mean Montreal's dive?
Yeah,
dude, 9.5. It's one of the more obvious dives you'll ever see.
I mean,
it's a total dive.
I mean, you see it all the time. Oh, fine for diving. 1,000. I mean, that's as good as a dive as there is.
All right, so
he threw himself backwards.
That's a joke, dude.
High grade diving.
Yeah.
If someone has taken a dive on you, call Bacchus and Schenker.
Nice.
222-2222. Or really the other way around. If you didn't dive, if someone interfered with you and it was a legitimate penalty, Bacchus and Schenker has your back. ColoradoLaw.net or the 2 number. Bacchus and Schenker will give you a free consultation. If you have a case, they'll take it on for nothing up front. They don't get paid until you get paid.
Yeah.
You're looking at me.
I'm just admiring.
All right. Cool.
The way you side door your way into this, always impressive.
I put in the work, all right?
It's always something that I appreciate, sir.
Get with them. Again, they've won over $1 billion for their clients, so they'll get you paid. We'll put it to you that way. Bacchus and Schenker wins. Call that 2 number today. After my good friend Baki Shanks, do you think they'd be cool with me calling him Baki Shanks?
How old is the employee that we're asking how cool they are with it? Is it Bacchus or Schenker? Because they may not. The 22-year-old intern receptionist might be down with it.
All right, let's move on before I get myself in trouble. Look, the weather outside sucks. I hope you don't have any problems with leaks and things like that. But if you do, call Red Hawk Roofing. Even if you don't, honestly, get a hold of Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com. They'll come out, they give you a free inspection. They'll go up on your roof, they'll take pictures, they'll sort everything out. They'll tell you what's going on up there. Most of the time, probably be nothing. You'll probably be all right. But if you do have problems, they've got you covered for that too. They can get you all fixed up with your roof. They're a local company. They even do emergency calls, so if something happens and you spring a leak in the middle of the night, they can help you out. So get a hold of Red Hawk Roofing today, redhawkroofing.com, and get with them to get your roof all sorted. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Look, big picture, the Avs have still been on a really great stretch.
Yeah, dude.
For sure.
This is not the unhappiness on the pod tonight is not a big picture unhappiness. It is a contained to the last 4 hours unhappiness. It sucks that they lost that game.
Yep.
That's all it is. It sucks.
AJ, a strategy I think you go with a lot of the time when you have conversations like this. If you swap this game in Toronto, how much better do you feel?
Feel fine.
If you lose a game to Toronto with a depleted lineup, you're saying, yeah, that's a good team. Okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you beat Montreal, and you say, all right, you're 1-1 on the road trip. You're feeling good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
you don't love that you lost to Montreal.
It is,
but you're okay.
It is 100% a missed opportunity to start the road trip 2-0.
For sure.
When you finish in Boston and Philadelphia, two tough places to win this season.
Yep.
That's tough. It makes it a little tougher for you. You're going to have to pick your game up.
Yeah. Gotta be
That's all
better.
there is to it. And you've got to pick up Eustace tomorrow. You've got to, or Prosvetov tomorrow.
Whoever it is.
I keep just assuming because Annunen, they call up Annunen. He's the backup tonight.
Well, why are you calling him up?
Everything feels like it's building towards an Annunen game, but
Come on.
I don't want to just
Do
assume,
it.
Watch him run Georgiev out there again, and we all lose our minds.
No, and Eustace we trust tomorrow.
Dude, it would be messed up if they play Georgiev again. At that point, Bednar's like, oh, you think he's overplayed? Watch this. And you're like, all right, Bedsy, good point, man. Cool argument, brother.
All right. Again, I really think you're correct, AJ. This post game is probably a bit of an overreaction to one loss.
It is. And for the
for
record,
sure.
It 1,000% should not be this unhappy. It's just that it sucks to lose to bad teams.
Yep.
Which,
That's it.
again, has not happened much this year. I keep seeing people in chat being like, "Nah, they play down to their competition." Come on, guys. They lost to Chicago. They lost this game.
And the only other really bad loss is the St. Louis one, I guess, this year. And even they're more of a mid team than a bad team.
I guess I would even say the Buffalo shutout is probably worse than that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We don't need to nitpick that. Doesn't matter.
Regardless, it is nowhere near as bad as you were thinking it is.
Yep.
Because they have won far more games than they've lost.
Yep.
Whatever. This is mostly just a.
Hey, we care. That's why.
This isn't a real thing so far this season.
No.
So.
And they're coming off a stretch of hockey where they beat Boston, Vegas. They just beat. Oh yeah, they beat Dallas earlier, and then they just beat Toronto.
Yeah, in Toronto. Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's a good team.
You can't win every game.
Yeah, the way they lost to Nashville was obviously horrible. Yes. But that's not a bad team.
Nashville has already also proven itself to be a mid-pack team.
They're like 5-6 games above 500.
Yeah.
The way that they have lost games has been worse than the
losses
the teams
themselves.
that they have lost to on the whole.
For sure. That's definitely true.
Is indisputable.
Stop losing games in dumb ways, Avs.
Yeah.
That's the real vibe right now.
Yeah. This is another one that you could even chalk up to because they give up that goal with 3.5 minutes
like
to go.
4 minutes, yeah.
You're talking about a loss where you probably another one that you can say if you just get the 1 point, if you just get to overtime and still lose the game, you still don't love it, but you're getting points. You're moving forward in the standings.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Again, on the whole, the Avs are doing just fine. They're still a top 5 team in the NHL by points right now. It's hard to feel bad about the team big picture. It's just the thing you need to see from the Avs is it can't be the same mistakes over and over and over, right? It's time to make some adjustments like you talked about on the penalty kill.
Yeah, the PK is the area where I'm saying you have to really make an adjustment. Otherwise, as a team, they have been much better over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They have limited a lot of the really dumb stuff. The penalties have come way down.
I would argue even Georgiev has been better. Even if that is a more marginal
I
thing.
would say better in games than statistically, because you've seen like the end of the Boston game. He does in the Boston game what he doesn't do today.
Yep.
Where he just, it stops.
Doesn't give up the next
He has
one.
to make some big saves.
Yep.
He makes them. He outplays the guy at the other end. Tonight he gets outplayed by Jake Allen.
Yep. Okay. Anything else you guys want to add before we go to Super Chats and get out of here?
I'm good.
Good.
You know things have reached a level when Chad is talking about face-off percentage.
You're digging deep at that point.
Yeah, it's like, guys, come on. That and the very silly notion that the Avs need more CHL players.
What is that?
Yeah, because they need to be bigger and physical. And it's like, you also, you can make that argument, I guess, but can we also admit that Val Nichushkin, Arturi Lehkonen, and Miles Wood are three of your more physical players?
Yep.
Not in your lineup. And if you take Mason Marchment and Jamie Benn out of the Dallas lineup, they're going to look a lot softer too.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, Arturi Lehkonen and Val Nichushkin didn't play in the CHL.
I'm just saying. Correct. But I'm saying is the like archetype of you need physical guys. Also, statistically speaking, more penalties are called in the postseason than the regular season. So the concept of, power plays go down in the playoffs
not really true, yeah.
is factually inaccurate. Regardless of however you might feel about it, it's not true.
I mean, I think it's
just
true,
not true
that if you're in the third period of a one-goal game in the playoffs, they're not calling anything.
Yeah, it might be situationally.
But on the whole, they call
again,
just as many or more, yeah.
Yeah, they call more in the postseason than they do in the regular season, which is pretty wild. I think that reputation comes from, like, when the Avs were in that cup final against Tampa Bay and it was like one every game and it was only a delay game or whatever. Yeah. That got pretty tough.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
on the whole, not true. It's
throughout
just not
an entire
true.
playoff run.
Yeah, it's not true.
We have a couple Super Chats from Vaguely Sober. One saying Georgiev was buns tonight.
Eric knows what that means now.
Yeah. Eric learned what buns was.
Funny.
And then another one that says, call Red Hawk Roofing for your leaky Avalanche net.
True. They'll fix it. That's what we've been doing wrong.
Weren't calling Red Hawk Roofing for the net. Tough. Tough out here.
The upside of a back-to-back, man, right back at it tomorrow.
Oh, that's
you don't get to stew in it.
It's the beauty, and it's an easy one, guys. It's a 2 hour. I mean, I don't even know if they're flying there. I mean, freaking driving's like 2.5 hours. Like, so I mean, it's a layup.
I bet they'll fly, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying it's a 20-minute freaking flight. Like,
it's not bad.
It's not a big deal. You're not dehydrated in the air for 2 hours and change time zones, and it's an easy one.
Some losses are tough, but
also Ottawa kind of sucks, so
they are not very good. Yeah,
sometimes they suck, and sometimes some games they're totally awesome. The game in Denver was probably harder than it should have been,
but the Avs won it.
It would be nice to get. You don't care about giving points away to those guys. Just get 2 points tomorrow.
Yep, exactly right.
Get 2 points tomorrow.
You get 2 points tomorrow, and you forget this game real quick. Put it that way. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. We are brought to you by Game Time. If you want to get your tickets, obviously the Avs on the road a lot right now, but they do have a lot of home games coming up later on in February. So go find your tickets and get $20 off when you sign up with Game Time with the DNVR code today. There's a link down in the description. Join over 15 million people who use Game Time to get the best prices on tickets. That's it. That's all I got. We're going home. We're going to go make a bunch more content about this stupid hockey game.
Stupid hockey game. Stupid hockey.
Appreciate y'all.
Stupid day. Stupid cold.
The day was a stupid one, for sure.
Stupid day. Almost over.
We'll be back tomorrow for the next game. So you know where to find us. Like, subscribe, follow us on Spotify if that's your thing. We'll talk to you later.
We all silly like the mayor.